So, you ready to go?
Wait, do you remember our first time?
Of course. Well, it always feels like the first time with you.
हर घड़ी तेरी राह में हूँ जैसे तेरी पनाह में तुमको इतना सोचता हूँ क्यों खींचता है जुनून मुझको बिन तेरे ना सुकून तुझको इतना चाहता हूँ क्यों
फर्स्ट टाइम याद है?
All those memories. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz the Buddymeister.
For our last Indian horror movie in the Halloween horror month, we chose The House Next Door by director Milind Rau.
The House Next Door is actually the title of the Hindi dubbed version of the movie. The Tamil dubbed version is called Aval, which means her, and the Telugu dubbed version is called Gruham, which means home. The movie was simultaneously shot in all three languages, and we watched the Hindi version. And we liked it, didn't we?
Yes, we did. One thing that's very strange at first though, when you start watching films from India in general, are the very long credits before the movie starts. The part where the image is just black and the filmmakers are expressing their gratitude to a lot of people.
Which is a nice gesture, I think, and very often they even thank God himself. But this time
they thank the devil as well.
Like our last pick, the Telugu language horror extravaganza that was Arundhati, The House Next Door has a very important connection to events in the past, more precisely to the year 1934. But what exactly happened in that year and its specific mansion, the titular house next door, only becomes clear in the last third of the movie.
Right, first we get a black and white introduction of the events happening in 1934, and then we get a song and a montage of our two leading actors, Siddharth and Andrea Jeremiah, and their characters Dr. Krish and Lakshmi falling in love. For 5 minutes.
Which I think is very long, even for Indian movies.
Yeah, but also a nice introduction for our characters and a good basis for the movie in general.
The story is simple. We have Dr. Krish and his wife Lakshmi in one house and new neighbors in the house next door. And as soon as these new neighbors have settled in, strange and peculiar things start to happen, especially with the daughter Jenny.
When it comes to the horror elements, this film has plenty of them, both in content as well as in style and presentation. We get evil possessions, links to Christianity, crosses turned upside down, eerie choir music, a nice use of color and lighting, something dark in the past, twists and turns, child voices, an unleashed camera, jump scares as well as slow build-ups, claustrophobic interiors, and also remote location shots.
Yeah, for lovers of horror movies and typical or let's say classic horror tropes, The House Next Door has plenty to offer. It really has everything. It's a great pick for the Halloween season, also when it comes to being kind of an homage to the horror genre.
Yeah, it does it with names like the Silent Hill Hospital or an event occurring on Friday the 13th. At one point Jenny is reading a copy of The Exorcist and we also see a copy of Stephen King's The Shining.
And we have the well that is reminiscent of Ringu. And of course there is an exorcism scene, a very crucial scene in the movie that will bring back memories of William Friedkin's classic film.
And yet that scene can totally stand on its own and is one of the film's highlights in my eyes. The way it is built and how they keep increasing the tension and the supernatural in that scene is really impressive.
Which makes it a bit strange that after that point in the film, which is very directly and clearly showing that the supernatural exists, everyone seems to be rather fine with it and doing business as usual. The people in this movie are very calm in general. In almost every single scene something crazy is happening, but who cares?
Yeah, you can say that is also something pretty common in horror movies, but one thing that is not common at all is that the effects and the CGI were really good this time.
I was surprised too. There was some really cool stuff in there. I like the upside down dream of Krish, where everything hung in the air and his car was standing on its rear end and the wheels were still turning. Really neat. Of course there were some cheaper ghost scares in it as well, but all things considered, that did not diminish the overall fun.
I thought the story was quite intriguing and the twist was great and the cheaper scares were alright too. I guess the movie lost some of its momentum in the second half, and it could have been a little bit shorter, and that scene with the text overlays when the psychologist investigates Jenny by going through her room was a bit off-putting. But again, overall a really good and fun horror movie.
So, in German we'd say?
The House Next Door ist der ideale Horrorfilm für Halloween. Er funktioniert nicht nur als eine Art Hommage an klassische Genrekost, er entwickelt sich auch zu einem eigenständigen Spukhaus-Schocker mit tollen Ideen und nervenzerreißender Spannung. I give The House Next Door 8 out of 10. It's more like 7.6, but I don't do that.
For me, it's also 8 out of 10. It's more like 7.5, but I don't do that either.
So that's it for today. We hope we got you interested in checking out The House Next Door for yourself. And we really hope you liked our detour into some Indian horror this month. Next week we will probably return with something lighter. Until then, you can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at The Jimmy Cage.
And you can hit me up simply at the Buddymeister.
And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like, and make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.